It's Thursday, March the 23rd, 2017, and this is your Barbados Today evening update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, a 14-year-old schoolboy appeared in court today, charged in connection with Tuesday's violent incident at a rural secondary school. The boy, who was granted bail in the sum of $100,000, is charged with committing serious bodily harm to another schoolboy. Police said an altercation between two students resulting in another one being struck in the head. The condition of the victim is listed as stable. The accused has to reappear in court on June the 28th. Police, meanwhile, are investigating the shooting of a minibus driver in the wee hours of this morning. 46-year-old Joel Griffith sustained a gunshot injury to his lower back as he was about to park his vehicle at his Crane St. Philip home at the end of a day's work. Police said Griffith was approached by an unknown man who shot him during the course of the robbery. He is in stable condition at this time. A former European central banker says Barbados has what it takes to dig itself out of its current economic hole. Notwithstanding this, visiting fellow Dr. Patrick Hanahan points to lessons which Barbados can learn from members of the European Union. Speaking to reporters at the Barbados Central Bank this morning, he said it was critical for government to have open communications with citizens, identify problems early, and embark on coherent medium-term goals.
The last thing you want is for somebody, whether from me or from somebody from Washington, comes down and says, "Here, now I know what you should do. You should do this and this and this, and please do it quickly." No, that's not the way any country is going to deal with its problems. A country, why? Why? Because any prescription coming from outside will only be adopted half-heartedly at best, or even at worst could be said, "Oh, so-and-so saying this and that. What does he know? He doesn't recognize the local things," and that's true. Only the local people understand the economy. They understand the pressure points. There are various things you can do to deal with all these problems. There are choices to be made, and choices to be made by Barbadians. Say, well, they did this in Trinidad, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do the other thing. And that's it. That's a political decision made by the people of Barbados, by the government of Barbados, in consultation with the people of Barbados. And I think that's the only way to think about it.
The Colonnade Mall on Broad Street in the city was evacuated today, and vehicular traffic was snarled as police and fire officials went into action to try to sniff out the source of a suspected gas leak in the Colonnade Mall. After about 3 hours, the all clear was given for business in the mall to resume. Barbados Fire Service Station Sergeant Henderson Patrick, who led the operation, later announced that the source of the suspected toxic gas leak was really a burnt-out electrical ballast in the mall. Officials said there was no toxic fumes discovered. Now, Patrick said they received the call around 9:12 this morning from the Little Switzerland jewelry store that staff had detected what appeared to be gas. 2 station officers, 13 other fire officers, and 2 tenders responded to the emergency call.
This morning, we received a call around 12 minutes past 9 o'clock from the occupants of Little Switzerland, indicating that they were smelling an unusual gas-scented smell. The appliances were in the area, and they responded. What we did is that we evacuated the entire building to ensure that all the occupants were safe. We conducted checks with gas meters to determine what the level of toxic gases were inside of the building. The conclusion is that there were no toxic gases picked up by the meters, but we also requested the assistance of the National Petroleum Corporation to also conduct an investigation to determine if there were any leaks with the piping of the natural gas line. And that is currently being done. And we are waiting information from them before we make any further decisions. Once we get a report from the National Petroleum Corporation, we will repopulate the building, give the all clear, and allow the people to resume normal operations. What we have discovered is that there was a burnt out ballast in one of the occupancies on the first floor. and we are treating that as the probable cause of the incident. But the investigations will continue to make a final determination as to whether that was the case or not.
In sports now, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will lock horns in a 3-match ODI series starting in Dambulla on Saturday, with either side sweeping the series, not only consolidating its position on the MRF Tires ICC ODI team rankings, but also strengthening its chances of qualifying automatically for the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019. 6th-ranked Sri Lanka is on 98 points, while 7th-ranked Bangladesh is on 91 points, 7 points behind. A 3-0 win for Sri Lanka will help it gain 2 points and rise to 100, while Bangladesh will slip behind Pakistan on 88 points. However, if the series result is reversed, then Bangladesh, which will aim to carry its P. Sarah Stadium momentum in the ODI series, will join Sri Lanka on 96 points and be ranked within 6th place when the points are calculated beyond the decimal point. West Indies and Pakistan will square off in a 4-match 2020 international series in Barbados on Sunday, but will be keeping a close eye on the ODI series in Sri Lanka, as both are also in the danger zone.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Read all about it, read all about it. Get your paper, only $2.25, let's get your paper.
You again with that stale news from yesterday. I got the Barbados today on my phone, and I just get my news for free. What do she?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back with news from the region now. Guyana may soon have legislation intended to place traditional medicine on firm footing in the healthcare system. Christine McClengum reports.
As the authorities move to improve the public health sector, practitioners of traditional medicines are likely to play a greater role in the healthcare system. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Shamdeo Prasad explains.
Minister even challenged us about traditional medicine, how we can incorporate that into what we do plan as, as we move forward. There are lots of traditional remedies there.
Dr. Prasad says many other Caribbean states are yet to have such legislation, but that legislation for traditional medicines is high on the agenda in Guyana.
Unfortunately, I don't think not only Guyana, but maybe many of the countries don't have the kind of legislation to allow for these medicines and these practitioners even to operate within our region. So we're hoping that we can address a wide range of these.
The Guyana Association for Alternative Medicine has for a number of years been lobbying for health authorities to initiate work on a comprehensive legislative review of herbal alternative medicine practice in Guyana.
And on the international scene, a major setback today for President Donald Trump's healthcare reform vote. In a last-minute move, the House of Representatives was forced to postpone the vote scheduled for tonight, thus throwing the Obamacare repeal vote in jeopardy. The Republicans were unable to muster enough of its members to take the measure to the floor of the House for a vote.
President Donald Trump has sold himself as a master negotiator. Now the man who wrote The Art of the Deal faces his ultimate test. So far, Trump hasn't managed to close the deal after high-pressure talks Thursday with members of the arch-conservative House Freedom Caucus. They're still not on board after huddling with the president for the second day in a row. Freedom Caucus Chairman Mark Meadows.
There were a number of questions in terms of what it did and what it didn't do. We need to read the bill and understand the bill fully before we take a vote on it.
They're pushing to strip out of the bill more of Obamacare's protections and benefits, from ensuring coverage for pre-existing conditions to benefits for preventative care.
And that's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.